Hey everybody, I want to show you some of the newer video game related figurines and statues that I've gotten since the last game room tour. I've gone to a few conventions since then, and these are some more obscure figurines and stuff for not incredibly insanely popular games, so they're not going to be like Zelda or Final Fantasy, statues or stuff. Just some more unique, lesser known, interesting ones. So let's go. I've been a big fan of the Persona game series since the beginning, and trying to get collectible stuff for it used to be a lot harder than it is now. There just wasn't many stores or companies importing over the stuff they made, and when they did, they were really, really expensive. Some of the statues and figurines go for in the $200 range or so. So more recently, now that they've done more re-releases of the games on different systems also, it's becoming a little bit easier. And first up is a Izanagi statue, or figurine actually, for Persona 4. And it is put out by a company called D-Arts. I got this at a convention in Orlando called MegaCon, and this was at a booth with another small, I think it was a Figma, it might have been a D-Arts, but either Figma or D-Arts little figurine from Berserk, and it's an anime if you don't know, and I decided to get the Persona 4 one instead of the Berserk one, because I do have a decent amount of Berserk statues and figurines, and it was just too expensive to get both from the same guy, and he wasn't haggling the price, so I was like, you know what, never mind, I'll just buy one from you because you're not working with me. He wouldn't even go like $5 off the price of, combined of both of them. But a little bit later, on the very last row of the convention, I happened to run into a very large Izanagi. Definitely a statue, not a figurine now. And this one's a lot more detailed. Obviously, triple the size, basically. And I almost passed up getting it, but I ended up being able to do a little bundling by getting this with another statue I'm going to show you in a second. So the woman gave me a pretty decent deal for getting both of those. It was something like 30 or 35 bucks off for getting both. And then the only other Persona related thing that I've gotten recently is from Persona 3, which is the Aegis, and very cool little Figma. The Figma figurines for their size are really expensive. I mean, if you collect Figma stuff, then you know. I mean, I think this was like 45 bucks, somewhere around there. And I actually got this over in Europe. And I think I might have actually shown this possibly on one of the European vlogs, just of, hey, what I bought today. But I bought it in Brussels, Belgium. And the woman behind the counter was actually Asian, and she wasn't understanding that I was saying 35 instead of 40 or 45, and she was like, no, I only have one. I'm like, no, $35. She goes, no, it's 45, because at first she was like, I think it's 45, and then she pulled it off, and it was, and I was like, oh, could you do 35? And she's like, no, it's 45. She started yelling at me, so I was like, all right, fine, 45, here you go, take my money. So that's the Persona stuff that I have gotten recently. Next up are a couple figurines that I picked up from my friend's anime shop that's in town where I live. I put up a video of it a while back. It's called Anime Fix. He gets in people's kind of collection sometimes, or someone comes in and just, says, hey, I found a box of blah, blah, blah. Do you want to buy it? And this kind of came in one of those lots. And they are Devil May Cry figurines. Pretty nicely detailed, and since he's my friend, he gave me a good deal on them. But there's the Dante, and the chick, which I don't remember her name right now. It's been quite a few years since I've played the first Devil May Cry, definitely. But they're very simple. I mean, there's, not much going on. You get two weapons with both of them, and you get his sword with Dante also. I just thought, I don't own really anything Devil May Cry except for the games, and he, gave them to me for pretty cheap. because I actually think he might have got them for like $1 each or something like that. Normally, if he gets a big lot, like say if there's a comic book seller and the comic book seller comes across, like that's a friend of his that comes across a bunch of figurines for video games or stuff that guy doesn't deal in, he'll come and be like, hey, give me a $100 for all of this shit. And one time I walked into the store and he happened to have like old Final Fantasy figurines, like Final Fantasy 7, and I think there was a few 8 on the floor, and this guy had just dropped them all off, and I think he gave him like $100 for everything, and some of those figurines go for $30 or $40 each, so he made out great on that transaction. Up next I have a statue from a PS2 game that's sort of obscure called Odin Sphere. Has a really big underground following. Vanillaware is the company that made it. This is Gwendolyn from the game. Great art style, sort of a 2D side-scrolling action RPG, beat 'em up weird game. It's hard to really put a genre definitely to Odin Sphere because the levels are these scrolling side view levels, but they loop around, so if you keep going to the right, you'll eventually just pop out back on the left and vice versa. My wife played it, loved it, and there's actually another statue coming out for Odin Sphere. I think it's pretty soon. I think it's like in June, and my friend at the anime shop has ordered it for me. I walked into his store, and he had this on the counter. It had just come in, and I was like, what the fuck, a Odin Sphere statue? That just seemed so random to me, especially so long after the game has been out. So I definitely grabbed it. Big fan of the game, big fan of Vanillaware. And if you've never played Odin Sphere or Muramasa the Demon Blade on the Wii, go check those out. Last but not least, a statue from a strategy RPG called Disgaea. This is Etna. Got this at the same booth that I got the large Persona 4 statue, and this by itself was still pretty pricey like the Persona 4 one was, but because I got them combined, she dropped the price. Don't really see much Disgaea stuff here in America at conventions. I do own a few small little things. I bought the like super special edition of Disgaea 4 that came with all the little figurines, and I think I might have one other small little thing, but this Etna statue really nicely designed, very much captures the the very cartoony look of her from the games, and just not something I don't think I'm going to see a lot of around anywhere. I wish they would make more Disgaea stuff because there's so many characters, and they're just funny and interesting. I remember NIS, the company that makes this, their website used to have a lot more little figurines and stuff that they would put exclusively on their shop on their website, and they were kind of pricey, but man, I wish I would have bought some of those back in the day because they just don't put them up like they used to. The little printy pig ones they also sometimes do like plushies and stuff for, but glad to have found a decent size statue for my collection. And that's it, guys. Just a few newer ones I've picked up, and hope you enjoy. Thumbs up, comment, subscribe. I will talk to you guys later. Double peace.